Let me start at chapter 3 again. And I said, Here I pray you, O head of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel, ye princes of the house of Israel. It is not for you to know the judgment, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off them, and their flesh from off their bones, who also eat the flesh of my people, and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces as for the pot and as flesh within a caldron, like a witchcraft. Which is then shall they cry unto the Lord, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill that they have done. Thus said the Lord concerning the prophets that make my people's error, that bite with their teeth, and cry peace, and he that putteth not into their mouth, they even prepare war against him. Therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, that you shall not divine, and the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark, even then shall the seer be ashamed, and the diviner confounded. Yes, they shall all cover their lips, for there is none answer of God. But truly I am full of power by the Spirit of the Lord, and of the judgment of the mighty, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin. That's verse 8. Okay, let's start this part here. Now, they said they was not using waterboard techniques to get what they got out of them papers. But God clearly tells you here, this is the part of the revelation that's unfolding itself where he'll hid his face from his people. They break them into pieces like and fillet their skin as if they're preparing meat for the caldron, these big witchcraft pots. And as they done them into the exact like now they did the black people when they brought them from Africa to create an imperial bond in us, to make them must fear them, that we may serve them, and they become parasites of us and leeches of us, that all of our wealth that we create will go to that peoples of the Gentiles and of the Chaldees nation. This is what they do. Create an pyramid, create the hanging tree. This is what they did. And they exploit us until we tremble every time they come around. This is what they did. And so they could rule us and become the parasites and the leeches of today's world through the industrialized nation, through the big banking system, that we find ourselves compelled to serve them and not to serve our God. This is where we're going with this. Now, but God said, but I am full of power by Spirit, verse 8 of chapter 3, of the Lord, and of the judgment and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin. This will take you to Ezekiel chapter 2 and 3. Verse 2, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Like I said. But chapter 1 is a space shuttle giving you the geographical location of the Antichrist, which is the United States of America, described by the space shuttle in Ezekiel chapter 1, 10, 3, and Revelation chapter 4. Now, let me finish this here out. So this hint showing you that he's full of power because he's bringing back, incarnating the spirit of Moses, idea about the spirit of Moses. Hear this, I pray you, the head of the house of Jacob, verse 9, and princes of the house of Israel. that abhor judgment and pervert men all equally. Pervert all equally. They build up Zion with blood. In other words, they building up Zion with blood by doing this, dumping their bodies on the street for President George W. Bush. I'm saying this here because these other people ain't gonna say it. And when they continue to transgress God, killing them people day and night, they shooting them every time we sleep, their bodies is being killed. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof, the judgment, the residents thereof, judge it for reward. In other words, they do anything they can if the United States give them reward, killing their own people. And the priest thereof teaches for hire, for money, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord, saying, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountains of the house, and the high places of the poor. Now, I'm going to go to 4. I'm going to quit on this one, I think. Chapter 4, M-A-I-C-H-A. But in the last day, this is when I suppose come back. In the last day, it shall come to pass that the mountains of the house of the Lord shall be established, and the top of the mountain, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow into it, and many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountains of the Lord, and to the house of God, the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his way, and we will walk in his path, for the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among many peoples and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nations, neither shall they learn war anymore, but they shall sit every man under his vine and honor his fig tree. In other words, what God gives them, that's what they get. They won't seek to take that from another man that they didn't give. His tree, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken it. For all the people will walk every one in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of the Lord of our God forever and ever. In that day, said the Lord, will I assemble here that Haltet, and I will gather her that is driven out of, and that and her that I have afflicted, and I will make her that Haltet a remnant, and her that was cast for all a strong nation, and the Lord shall reign over them in Mount of Zion henceforth ever forever. In other words, what we're looking at here is the prophecy fulfilling itself. God has spoke to the young world all through these things. And when they go and say the Quran is a book of prophecy and say Ishmael, it is not. It's a false prophet. When they go and prophesy like what God has done right there, He's opened the way showing that I was part of this prophecy.